being unveiled in time. This is the beautiful thing about your life. Why you should allow anyone to play with your life. No one at all. The preacher and the member. Don't let anyone play with your life. Because your life is an eternal blueprint that you're walking out in time. That's why your life is valuable to God, the architect. Are you hearing what I'm saying? God, He cares about the fact that you walk out your life because He sat down and He's thought about your life eternally. He's crafted it. He's designed your life. Those plans are not going in the garbage. No way. Those plans will come to manifestation. So this is why you got to take your life seriously. You got to see your life as a master plan. Now let me show you something now. There's a call and assignment on your life. You should be able to tell us what that is. How does that work in terms of vision? How does call work in terms of vision? Well, let's look at Romans chapter 10 for a moment. I'm going to show you something. This is the order of God. Let me just show you. First, there's a call. Second, there's a vision. Third, there's a place of development. And fourth, there's manifestation or fulfillment. Did you get that? First, there is a call. Don't have a vision if you haven't heard anything. Because your vision is born out of the call. I'm going to use St. Paul for a moment. I believe that Paul was called to the bone. I believe that before he saw the vision, he heard the voice. This is so important to understand. If you read, you can do this on your own. Acts 22 and verse 9. Acts 26 verses 13 to 18, when Paul begins to recount his testimonies, he will tell you exactly how this works. This is what happens. Your call, it will unleash your vision. God will say, this is the assignment, and you will understand. You will understand why this vision is on your life, because this assignment is on your life. Now, let's take our time here. Watch. When you hear the call, it also defines your ministry or your vocation. It gives you definition. It tells you what the assignment is. That is heaven's proposal on your life. That's what you submit to God in prayer. That proposal. The definition. Now, why is that important? Why is definition important? If you put your energies in a whole lot of things that are not your defined call, you will find all of a sudden that you're very tired because our energies are not channeled. Now watch what happens. Here is how, and I'll give you a little note. Confusion is when passion is placed before call. You have to think today. That's why people are confused. They're walking around doing a whole lot of things because passion, the energy of their life, is placed before the call of their lives. Calling, sight. Let's talk about focus. How can you be steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord if you don't know what that is? Watch what he says. That's what he says in 1 Corinthians 15 to 58. For this we know that our labor is not in vain. So that I've got to talk to you about focus. Because when you take your passions and you put a fence around them, the channeling of your passions becomes focus. When your energy is directed to something, now you become focused. A focused person is the most dangerous person on earth. Oh yes. A focused person, because now the weight of their energies is directed at one thing. I could say this. I believe in such specificity that I believe that there's something that you do so well if you could only get yourself focused on it. That will take care of you so well that it would blow your mind. This I call glory, because when you channel your passions in the place of your calling and you use your gift, fruit comes. When fruit comes, God gets glory. All you have to do is really, if you're focused and you're working your gift, if you're focused and working your gift, watch, there is no ceiling on what you can amass. Absolutely no ceiling. Now watch this. Watch this. Focus. These are my two favorite here. Focus establishes your dominant priorities. When you are focused, you will know what's important, what's not important. It's like your life now has blinders on. That which is in my focus, that's the dominant priority. Can you imagine how many people the enemy sidetracks by letting them think that certain things are important when it's not? Watch this statement. Every call that comes on your cell phone is not important. Every email in your inbox, I'm talking now, every email, and you know this, that's why we've got spam today. Every email is not important. That which is important is that which is in your focus. That is your dominant priority. So when you wake up and you start going through that list of things that you need to do today, please make sure that when you add it all up, it leads you to your focus. Or else you've squandered the day. Ecclesiastes 8 and 6 is a very good scripture for you to focus on. To every purpose, Robert, watch this. To every purpose, there is two things attached to every purpose. What are those two things? There is time, there is judgment. As a result of these two things being attached to every purpose, there is misery. So if you see opportunities and you can't make decisions, you're going to be miserable. If you can make decisions but you can't see opportunities, you're going to be miserable. So there are two things that you have to realize. With every opportunity, there's a critical decision to step into that opportunity. That's how you remove misery from your life. Now watch what happens. The last thing. This is my favorite out of the two. Dominant priorities pull out dominant abilities. Do you get that? That means when you establish the most important things, they will place a demand on the abilities that God has placed inside of you. This is how people develop. We can call it a challenge. Maybe that's the better term for it. But when you establish 1, 2, 3, 4, this is top priority. Those priorities will place a demand on the dominant abilities within you. Because to fulfill those priorities, you need those dominant abilities. Underdeveloped people are simply people who are not focused. That's all. You can't be focused and not develop. Because your focus develops you. So brethren, I ask you again this question, and I'm going to ask you to do this for me. This week, I'm going to ask you to go into your closet, your home, your space, the kitchen table, your work cubicle. I'm going to ask you to write down, what is your calling? And I'm going to do the same and bring it back here, and we're going to place it at these altars. Because everybody is supposed to know what their calling is. But the call puts a challenge out. So when you write that calling down, that calling may not be where you are right now. Don't be intimidated by that reality. Write the calling down. I am called to. I am called to. I heard God call me to. Because from there, I'm telling you that if you look forward, ask yourself this. The vision you have, does it line up with the calling that you hear? And the focus of your life on a daily basis, does it line up with the vision of the call? Do you see how meticulous your life can really be as a believer? All week I don't know. Maybe I'm out in left field. But all week I think to myself, I say, God, there has to be something, because people are worshiping you and they're praising you, but something is not connecting. And I talk to so many people, they're chasing this, they're chasing that. And then another thing too that I don't know. We chase pocket change with such fervor. I don't know. And I asked myself, is there a disconnect somewhere here, God, in the things that we're saying and the things that we're doing in our lives? Is the call really there? I feel like telling you, don't be afraid of what you hear. Don't be afraid of what you hear. I know beyond a shadow of a doubt what I'm called to do. And God knows that, I've stopped telling people what it is. I told them this morning that I was telling people in the beginning, and, people started getting antsy and queasy and this and that. And it's like you were threatening them. And so I said, forget it. I'm not going to say any more. and you're just going to let God bring it to pass, what it is. But if you sit me in a corner, I will tell you with great detail. It'll just be you and I talking. I'll tell you to keep it quiet. I will tell you with great detail. It's grandiose. I won't even hold back the things that I hear God saying that He's called me to do and to achieve. That's the conversations that you should be able to have with your close confidants. God has called me to this. I'm just walking something out right now, but know that God has called me to this. There are people watching even now by television. I just feel